Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know by now I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're looking at a camera that I purchased, the first one I purchased was about a year ago, and then I purchased another one about 6 or 7 months ago. So I've got two of them. And the camera we're talking about, it has been quite a controversial camera to some extent, and it is the Sony a7C. And just so everyone knows, I love it, and I would actually buy a third one, but I don't really need a third one because I've got so many cameras as it is. But it's the Sony a7C, which I have here, one of my favourite cameras for different reasons. Now, I have different favourite cameras depending on what I'm using it for. There's a few things I wouldn't recommend this camera for, and I'm going to go into that. But the vast majority of people I can highly recommend buy this camera, but as I say, it isn't for everyone. And I will go into one particular category of people that this camera probably wouldn't be suitable for. Not because of the results it produces, great results. It's got a 24 megapixel full frame sensor in it. 500 grams, so it weighs next to nothing if you're going out and about. So it becomes a fantastic travel camera, and that's one of the reasons I love this camera. I've got fitted to it today my Tamron 20mm f2.8 lens, and that is a phenomenal lens. Again, 20mm being, it's not extreme wide, well, it's not ultra wide, but it's wide, and it gives a lovely wide angle. It's really, really nice for internal architecture. I love going into churches and cathedrals, so it's lovely for indoors, and being that it's f2.8, it's a relatively wide aperture. So a very nice combination, because there is no weight to this Tamron lens. As I say, it's a 24 megapixel sensor inside the camera body, and that's what attracted me to it, was its full frame sensor. So you can get some gorgeous images with it. 4K video is what I purchased it for. It's fantastic, absolutely awesome. Now, virtually all of my reviews I use the Sony a7C for. Its battery life is excellent. The image quality is great for 4K. It doesn't crop the image in 4K, so it's reading off the sensor, the full sensor width. And it's got the articulating screen, which is quite new to Sony, to be putting an articulated screen, you know, on their newer camera bodies. And it is really, really good. So there's, you know, many reasons why I love the a7C. There is no record limit, so in 4K or 1080, it will just keep on running until either the card fills up or the battery runs out, or a combination of both. The handling of the a7C is quirky. That's the best I can say about it. It's quirky. I don't like the grip. The grip is really bizarre, because my fingers still rub up against virtually any lens I put on the a7C. That is disappointing, but it's a compact body. I can understand Sony's dilemma. You know, if they'd put a bigger grip on it, a nicer grip, the camera body would have to be bigger, because it needs to be further away from the lens. So there was quite a few compromises. They didn't compromise on the battery though. They've kept the Z mount battery in it, and that is awesome, because that lasts forever and a day. It's a great battery, great design. And also, what is also a great design is where they've put the SD card. It's not in the battery compartment anymore. It's actually on the side of the camera under this flap, which is awesome. And there's only one SD card slot, but that's where the SD card goes, and that's where your other controls are. So you've got a microphone input on the top there, and your headphone jack, and your HDMI sockets on the bottom there. So very, very nice, and it's a great vlogging camera. I don't use it for vlogging. I don't really do vlogging. I'm not into that kind of thing. But it is a great vlogging camera. It's got 5-axis image stabilization. It's nowhere near as good as what you'll get from the Panasonic G9 or the Olympus cameras, but it's okay. You know, it does the job, and that's the main thing. Or you can turn off the image stabilization and you can use a program, or a Sony program called Catalyst Browse, for stabilizing your footage after the event. And I'm going to do a video on Catalyst Browse. I haven't done one yet, but I am going to do a video on how that works, and it's actually very clever, really clever. With this articulating screen, it's a 3-inch articulating screen. For video is great because you can see what's going on, you can see yourself. It's wonderful. And these are many things that I love about the a7C. It's just shove it in your camera bag. It's so compact. It's a great little camera. The autofocus is phenomenal. We all know that Sony and Canon are pretty much the brand leaders as far as autofocus is concerned. It's got great animal eye AF and great human eye and body and face detect AF, all that kind of malarkey. Don't need to go into detail about all of that, but it just works, and it works flawlessly. And that's why I use the a7Cs, pretty much all my Sony cameras. I use the a7Cs in the studio here because they are reliable. And you know, for me, I work by myself. I don't have a crew. I don't have anybody behind the camera doing the lighting, doing the sound, etc, etc. So the more things that I know will just work as soon as I plug them in, the better. And with the Sony a7Cs, I don't have to muck around with the autofocus settings. It will just work, and that is great. I'm actually filming the close-up shot on my other a7C, which is over there with the Sony 85mm lens on. The wide shot is me Sony a7R III with the 35mm f1.8 lens fitted to it, and I'm getting some wider shots here with me Panasonic GH5 Mark II with the Sigma 16mm lens on, and the close-up shots are being picked up on my really beautiful, trustworthy Sony ZV-1. I will go through just very briefly some of the images on my computer here, but I mean, I've taken so many photographs with this camera over, you know, the last year or so. I can't show you all of them. I wouldn't want to anyway, it'd bore the hell out of you. But if you do want to scan through some of my images, go to my Flickr page. There'll be a link in the description below. Go to my Flickr page. It'll be better quality than seeing them on my YouTube video here, and you get a better indication of what the images are like with various lenses. Because I've taken obviously many photographs with the Tamron 20mm. I also use the Tamron 28-75 f2.8. That is a gorgeous lens. I'm very much loving the Tamron lenses, to be honest. I find them fantastic value for money. They don't have image stabilization in the lenses, but with the a7C, that's got image stabilization, so you don't really need to be concerned about it. But yeah, and the kit lens that comes with the, well, it doesn't, you can order the a7C with its kit lens. It's a 28-60 variable aperture lens. Certainly not great in low light, but again, you can reduce your shutter speeds a bit, and that is the lovely kit lens. It's so compact as well. Great, again, great for traveling. Now, if, you know, people criticize kit lenses for quality because they're not the sharpest of lenses. This one is actually pretty good, and if you are looking for a high quality kit lens that's compact, then I think it's worth looking at the 28-60, and it don't cost a great deal more. That's why I purchased one of my a7Cs with this kit lens. Again, look how compact that is. No weight to that. The body only is 500 grams, so with a kit lens, I'm not quite sure what that comes to, but it's, you know, it's really nice. And as I say, 28-60, it does come out the barrel, you know, and it is plastic fantastic, but the optical quality is very good, you know. I have to confess, I don't use it a great deal. I like prime lenses, generally speaking. That's why I usually use my 20mm lens, because it's a nice prime lens. And when you're going into cathedrals and churches, but I like to photograph internally, A, I want a wider lens, and B, I want the wider aperture. So, you know, it's great. Also, this kit lens isn't great for vlogging. I wouldn't recommend anybody buy this kit lens if you really are into vlogging, because at 28mm, it just doesn't go wide enough. You know, you have to really hold, it's not bad. It's not, but you can certainly work with it. But the 20mm Tamron is so much better. One of the cool things I love about the Sony cameras, and many other manufacturers, Nikon, Canon, well, maybe not so much Canon, but with Sony, you've got, because it's a full frame body, you can go into crop sensor mode as well. Not particularly useful for photographs, not on the A7C, because you're cutting down a 24 megapixel sensor down to about 10 megapixels. So that isn't really practical, to be honest. But for 4K video, or even 1080p video, well, I shoot everything in 4K, very practical, very, very useful. I use it a lot on all my Sony bodies. And what's wonderful about it, you can pre-assign a function button to go into crop sensor mode. So like in the studio here, if I've got my 85mm lens on, which is filming the close-up shot there, if I wanted to go tighter, not that I would on that because it's too tight anyway, but I can flick one button, and I've got this button pre-assigned for it, and that'll cut it in tighter. You see there, that's gone in a lot tighter. So that gives you a 1.5 times crop. And I love that feature, a flick of a button, and you can get a tighter crop on your image. And in 4K, you don't lose any quality. It's a wonderful feature. And I say, I use that a great deal. And it's one of my favorite features of the A7C is being able to pre-assign a function button. And if I need to crop it tighter, well, I can just crop it tighter. Particularly useful when I'm using the 20mm lens, because obviously that is wide, but I can crop that down to 30mm using the one flick of a switch, and I do that quite a bit. So that's one useful feature. There's a few things about the A7C that, as I said to you, I'm not that keen on. One of them is the grip, but you know, that's a compact body, so you know, you live with that. And the other thing is, it is missing various function buttons, but again, it's a compact body, and many people have criticized that. It doesn't particularly bother me, but for for one thing, it hasn't got the control wheel on the top of the camera. So when you're using, like, changing the aperture priority, you've just got the one control wheel on the back here, or you can use this dial on the back here. But that's fine. You know, I do like to be able to have one on the front, on the back, but as I say, because it's a compact body, you haven't got that. But I have managed to get, and I still manage to get, lovely images, lovely video. It's used in the studio here all the time. I've normally got two set up on the tripod there. At the moment, I've got the A7C, as I said earlier, filming the close-up shot, and the A7R III getting the wider shot over there. But yeah, great compact body. The 3-inch articulating screen is certainly very handy. I find it more handy for video than I do for stills. I prefer, like it is on my A7R III, a screen that tilts upwards rather than an articulating screen. That's just me. That's what I prefer. The viewfinder is really, really tiny. It's not a great viewfinder. The actual resolution of a viewfinder is fine, but it's a really, really tiny viewfinder. So the eye relief isn't brilliant, but again, you know, what could they do if they wanted to make they wanted to make a compact body and still put a viewfinder in it? I wouldn't have bought it if it didn't have a viewfinder, let's put it that way. And I've purchased two of them, even though I use them predominantly for video and I'm not using the viewfinder. But when I'm out taking photographs, I do want to be able to use the viewfinder. So that is brilliant. The autofocus on it is brilliant. The animal IAF and the human IAF is brilliant. And that's why I carry on using the cameras, because I just find them, you know, totally reliable and totally functional. Great that there is no video record limit, because, as I said before, I make these fluffs and I don't have to worry about it, and I can edit out the fluffs rather than worrying about, oh, I'm coming up to that 30-minute record limit, it's just going to stop, you know, and I have to start all over again. But no, it's got all the features that I need and more. Now, regarding the one card slot, as I said, it has only got the one card slot under this flap. So I can't recommend this camera to professionals that are doing events, particularly weddings or one-off events where you haven't got the opportunity to do that event again. One card slot is fine for hobbyists, for even as a B-roll camera for professionals, but not as your main camera. If that SD card is corrupt, then you're out of luck, and your client's out of luck. That's not, you know, that's not going to be very helpful, is it? I would use something like my A7R III or any of the, you know, my GH5 Mark II, the G9s, any camera body that has two card slots. So at least you've got a backup. But other than that, I can't really think of any major drawbacks that the a7C has. You can power it off a USB block, so you don't have any fear of the battery running out, although these batteries are excellent anyway, so you don't really have a fear with that. But you can run it off a USB power block, and that is awesome. And it's just a really nice compact camera. So there we go, that is my views. Now, as far as image quality is concerned, I think we all know, don't we, the images are going to be great coming off this sensor. It's a 24 megapixel full frame sensor, so you know, we've got no concerns with the sharpness. Look at those eyes, it's gorgeous. I don't know what lens this is, probably the 35mm lens, I don't know. Oh, that's the kit lens, 28 to 60 kit lens I've used on that. So there we go. You know, as I said to you in the review, the kit lens is great. Not great in low light, but it is a great lens. You know, so you still can get some really nice images with that lens. If we look at, you know, any of these images, I don't know what lens that is. I've used so many different lenses. So that's still the kit lens, 28 to 60. So, you know, again, look at the clarity. Beautiful sensor, beautiful full frame sensor. So, again, clarity is excellent. That's still, yeah, most of these are with the 28 to 60 kit lens. How bizarre is that? I didn't realise that. Yeah, 28 to 60. I randomly picked some images that are in my catalogue, in my Capture One catalogue here, and they all happen to be images with the kit lens. I say it is only an f4 to 5.6 lens, so it's not great in low light, but who cares? You know, beautiful lens, beautiful camera. And I say the animal IAF, IAF is very, very good, very reliable. It's excellent. Little Molly's eyes, beautifully sharp there. Now, you're best off, I will put a link in the description to my Flickr page. You're best off looking at these images on my Flickr page, because the compression that YouTube creates is not the best. So they might be a bit pixelated. But if you look at Flickr, you'll get a much better representation of what the images are really like. And I would highly recommend that you do that. Oh, that's the Tamron 28 to 70. 28 to 75, sorry, 28 to 75 lens, which is basically wherever it is, this one here that those images are taken on. And I say, gorgeous crisp results on the a7C. It's a nice lens, do like that lens. Now the program I'm using here, I use 2 or 3 different photo editing programs depending on what I'm editing. But this particular one here, again, look at his eye. Look at how sharp that is. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm using Capture One for showing you these images, and Capture One is a great program. I'll put a link in the description to download the trial version of Capture One, and if you find you do like it, use the code AVP10 when you buy it or subscribe to it, and you get 10% off your price. So, you know, great offer and well worth playing with it anyway. Certainly download the trial version and have a play with it. It's very much like Lightroom and all the other ones. It's got a catalogue based system, so you know you can easily keep an eye on all your images, where they are. You know, everyone files images in different ways, so I'm not going to go into that, but all the editing features you could ever need. Great bit of software. I highly recommend you download the trial version and have a play with it. So there we go, that's my thoughts on the Sony a7C. I love it as a video camera and I love it as a travel camera because it is just so light and produces exceptionally high quality. And for me, with my bad back, it's nice to have a camera that doesn't weigh the earth, you know, but I do know I'm still going to get, you know, great quality with it. And I've been using it for well over a year now, and I'm not been disappointed in the slightest. Even though it has only got the one SD card, well, it's that side, the one SD card slot, it doesn't bother me for what I do in here. So there we go, that's the a7C. what I think of it over a long period of time, a longish period of time. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy my channel. I love making these videos, and it means a lot to me that people subscribe, hit the like button, leave comments. I do read every comment, but I'm not the best at replying to everyone, so apologies for that. But please leave your comments. It really helps me grow the channel, and hit the subscribe button if you found this video useful, and certainly download the trial version of Capture One. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. Cheers for now. Bye.